The United States debt, we were talking about this before the show, and I want to get into this, was 31 trillion, or getting ready to hit $31 trillion for the first time. That's 31 trillion. I can't even fathom how much money $31 trillion is, okay? So, I can't even fathom that. And I think that's probably part of the problem, is nobody can fathom what $31 trillion is. But to break it down, that's $92,000 per person if you take the whole U.S., or if you just take the taxpayers, $245,000 per taxpayer. I remember when we passed 20 trillion, everybody was panicking, and nothing much really happened to me. And to most people in the world, we're just moving along. So, number one, what does this mean, and how come we're not, or are we seeing it? I was going to say how come we're not seeing it, but are we seeing it and we're just not realizing it? Because it's like putting the frog in the boiling pot of water. If you turn that water up slowly, he never hops out and he gets boiled to death. If you throw him in, he hops right out. Is that where we're at? Well, I know I gave you a lot there.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where we're at. And that's why it's so hard to understand where we're at, because people are measuring the system from the system, and the system has an error code. And this is where it gets complicated for people, because everything they measure in, all of their actions are measured through that system that requires manipulation of money. It's not just debt, it's manipulation of money, and that debt has to be created out of thin air. So you come back to just an easy first principle. Technology is deflationary. In our world, that means prices should be falling everywhere as technology automates more and more of the work in the world. And that's on a trend that's exponential. In response to that, global debt has to go up. So you have one exponential trend driving prices down, removing labor, and you have a different opposite exponential trend that has to offset that deflationary technology and rob our time, keeping us on a mouse wheel to move faster and faster and faster to try to have more jobs to keep up with a rise of debt that is artificial. It's just manipulating money. So it keeps society paralyzed, and it also transfers wealth from the middle class and poor to the rich in doing that. And as a byproduct of that, what it means is you have to remove the free market, and you have to concentrate all power in very centralized organizations to keep the game going. And that's a global phenomenon. It's a global phenomenon because if you allow deflation to happen from a credit-based system, then the credit just gets wiped out, but the credit is our system. And so people think that their money is in the bank. It's a credit note in the bank, and it keeps on unwinding, and the banks fail, and every single supply chain fails, and everything fails. So the governments actually have no choice other than to continue to ease. Now, when they do, after you start having a collapse of credit and joblessness spikes, we'll see when they do. But ultimately, with a game we're playing, cannot be solved but from the game we're playing, because either you have door number one, credit collapse, the entire system fails. I'm sure no politician is going to vote for credit collapse, the entire system fails. Door number two, more and more inflation leading to hyperinflation all around the world. And so those are the only two solves out of that system. And so you need a third door, and Bitcoin is a third door that's emerging. And more people are understanding it. They're building a transitionary path away from most of the destruction that door one and door two impose on society. So that's what's happening with Bitcoin. It's a system outside of the system, and you can't measure the system. And people are mismeasuring because they're measuring all of their work through the system, and that's being manipulated.
Yeah, I love coming to BitBlockBoom because it's like Mecca for Bitcoiners. Like, everybody here is like part of the hardcore like inner sanctum. You just have these conversations with everybody where like you can see it in their eyes that they believe the same things that you believe.
If you come to BitBlockBoom once, you're going to come every year.